Welcome everybody to the first attempt at a live stream for Global Comic Safari. Matt is going to join us in a little bit, but I'm here with Robert Fordham and Scott, aka Foreign Comic Mac Daddy today. Man.
We need more syllables though, more phonetical.
Welcome, guys. You're cracking me up. I just want to thank comicbookinvest.com for all the help they give us and promotion and giveaways and all that fun stuff. So anything that you want to check out, including some foreign comic content, check out comicbookinvest.com and give them some love. And please like, subscribe. If you like our content, help us figure out what we want. Today, we want lots and lots of comments just because we don't really have a plan. We're just going to talk whatever you guys want to talk. So hello if Europe is here. Hello if the U.S. is here. I don't know who else may be wandering around. So feel free to chime in and tell us what you want to talk about. I thought we'd start with a little bit of just some pickups just to give us some time to figure out what we want to get ramping into and discuss. But if you got something you want to hear, please throw it out there. All right. I'll start out because I want to thank Robert for hooking me up. I know he hated to let it go, but he hooked me up with this amazing E-Ball Batman by 40, the 227 from Brazil, a monstrous 7.0, and it is gorgeous.
That's a beauty.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Scott, for talking some sense into me when I wasn't sure I was going to buy it or not. But a chance to book that high grade is rare. And as you can tell, we're all working from home today, so there's a little more noise. It's amazing. The only spot that there's even a little bit of thing is a little chipping here and just some kind of price there, maybe $3 or $3 something. It also went to $4 at some point, so somebody didn't really want it for a while.
I can tell you the story behind that. I got that from Fabio, and he said that the book that he got it from is from a thrift store, and he had it for a while. And as you can tell, it's been pretty preserved. And he had it in a yellow bag and board, so it wasn't really, kept in the best conditions, but has a little price on it from being stolen in the thrift store. So
it has two prices though. Like there's one that was erased and then a new one.
Yeah, look, that price below it was supposed to be more. I guess.
Yeah, they lowered it. Went from $4 down to $3 or whatever. I can't tell exactly what I'm looking at price wise, but it definitely went down.
Yeah,
I don't mind the prices. I kind of like the stamps and things like that. I think it gives them character.
Oh,
I said that too.
We got some fans. I wanted to just welcome some people. We got Martin Fairley from London.
Nice.
Out of Louisiana. Comic CK3 Comic DK, who watches a lot of our content. Welcome. Comic Garage, I'm not as familiar with, but welcome. He's saying he must know you, Scott. He says you need to clean yourself up. You look a bit rough.
Like there's a barbershop open at the moment.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's why we're all wearing hats and got some ruffles and beards. And then Ricardo Diaz, who is a good friend of several of us I know. So thank you, sir. And
Rico.
Graded. I bought it from Robert, who got it graded. So that was the story. Robert stumbled upon it in some other high grades and got it graded. I couldn't pass it up because he has a pretension for golden age Brazilian comics, so he had to feed his hobby.
Chase.
So.
Oh yeah, I understand the pain.
Yeah, me and Z went back and forth. I was like, I'm having second thoughts, but I really want the golden age cap. So.
Oh, and our friend Solo Wookie, who is always here. What is that? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that Bat 227 is a nice one.
So here's a question, I guess. There's a double copy of Mexico version Spawn 230, one color and one black and white, Free shipping offered at 18. Is it worth that as a foreign? The American way too expensive, so why the much difference? I can answer that. There's a lot of countries that do. It gets confusing because a lot of us do the vintage, but the moderns they do. You see a lot of foreign editions. Sometimes they're con exclusive. Mole Con does a lot of them, kind of copy and variants, and some of that. It's a cheap way to get the cover that you like. It's a cheap way to display it. Not a vast majority of them don't gain a ton of value, but there are a few. I mean, the Supergirl 23s, the Legion Superheroes 23s have picked up, they sell for 50, 60, 70 bucks just because the other one's 300-400. So it just depends on the book and how popular it is.
Yeah, like an example, like everybody wants that Spider-Man 667.
Oh, yeah.
You want to have a cheap way to get the cover without all the stuff on the front of it. You could definitely get the Mexican version.
Marvel Mexico, yeah.
They have a French one too.
Yeah, so some of those are great ways to do it.
Yeah.
Closet Geek has a question for us. I'm not sure. Maybe this is a Robert one. Looking at some info about a German hardcover Batman Damned. The thing came with a piece of artwork, 1/6 of the artwork. Artwork 1 of 6 on the artwork. Didn't know if it was a gimmick they did or what. I don't have an answer for that one. I haven't researched that Batman Damned one. The seller didn't know about it either. Well, anybody from Germany in the chat, chime in, let us know. I'm sure somebody knows a little more about it than us.
Well, listening to Matt's other podcasts on Spotify, he said a lot of times when it comes to a different version of a book, they'll give you some kind of incentive to buy the other one versus the American. So they'll give you something like a button, a poster, or even like some additional artwork to make it that much more collectible. So I've seen that one on eBay too, that German one he's talking about.
Okay.
And
you know what he's talking about on that art?
Yeah, it's some other Liber Mayho art on the inside. So
it's just an additional image.
Yeah. So it's kind of like it's Mario.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mario has it on his he has 2 editions of it, I think. From what I saw the last time I looked on there. It looked decent, but it's still like $200 because it's a hardcover. He has it listed as a 9.9, which we all know that's the one book that has probably the most 9.9s and 10s out there. So it's pretty thick too. It's kind of like, like you sent me a picture.
It's a big boy book. Is it all of them in one?
I think it's the first and second one. I think the third one came as a floppy, like a hard cardstock cover.
Well, that's bizarre. All right, Solo Oki's going back to the Spawn 230. He says that's the one that's the Spawn's homage to the original Batman cover. So, I mean, it's a cool book, and if you're building a set, that's probably a good one to get at bare minimum, and it would look good in either the Batman set or just the Spawn edition too. So, when you're talking classic covers and homages, there's people buying them, and then you get into the foreign craziness on top of it, and you get people building sets of 300 freaking books.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the guy collecting the 300 that also collects all the American homages? I mean, I think he had 200 covers.
Yeah.
I don't even. I've seen him on the group a few times, but it's intense.
Yeah, but he doesn't have this one though.
No. Robert picked up the elusive. Nobody can. Oh, there you go. Let me make you the main screen so you can show it off better. Picked up the Filipino
Atlas.
Yeah.
Doesn't have Spider-Man in the cover.
For those of you that are not familiar, that is the tough one of the set.
Even though it has a lot of the.
Was that a bound edition you got, we think?
Yeah. Like the pages itself, you can see you get a better picture. You can see it's kind of a clean edge on this side, but then you see this side where the binding's kind of like, you see it going right down the spine. But even to just have the pages of it is just that much harder to source.
It's not a rare book.
Yeah. But one that was not bounded was.
That they weren't in the same bound?
No, this one I bought this one separate. This one was actually loose. This spine's a lot better.
Huh. I thought they came together.
No.
Outstanding. That doesn't have the same artwork in the corner. That surprises me.
Right. And then, got Spider-Man in this corner versus the metal.
Man, if you are a Spider-Man guy, that's the set. I mean, that's the Granddaddy set, and I'm gonna say that's the Granddaddy book in the set. That's the one most people are hunting. When they get all the others, that's the one you gotta go. That's why I keep buying the Italian. I'll just keep spending money on that. I can have 100 of those. Corner in the market.
I had to snatch one from you.
You had to get one while I was blinking.
Yeah.
Man, we got lots of comments. Thanks, guys. That's glad that there's some questions flowing. Here's one that Mac Daddy here may have some input on. Our friend Martin in London. He's looking to put together the Superman 223 set. Do we know how up to date the comic book database is? Funny you should mention that. We were just talking about that, and I don't know that it's 100%. Is it Tony that is the one collecting that set, right?
I think
Tony
so.
Pamela.
Tony Pamela has pretty much the most complete set we've seen. I mean, we hesitate to call it complete because God only knows what comes up next.
No. What's known?
Yeah, known. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick because we were just talking about the Grand Comic Database and what's complete and what's not. So if we go to the main page here, this is kind of where you start. I had just typed in Amazing Spider-Man 300, hunted, and got into the American version. And if you look, we'll call them reprints, a lot of them, but it's got quite a few of the 300s listed. So you can click on them. A lot of them have covers, some don't. So like right here, the Mexican edition of the 80. It's got the cover picture, some basic information here. Grand Comic Databases, it's hit and miss whether it's updated or not updated. It's just kind of a little bit yes, a little bit no. And I don't know if the 233 is updated. Potentially we can kind of do a little look at that, ask Tony, and maybe he can get back with you on that. But if you hunt within the Foreign Comic Collecting magazine group and look for Tony's post, you can find his set picture, and that'll show you what we know is out there. And from what I know of that one, the biggest book that nobody can find is the
Filipino.
The Filipino and the Super Comics.
Matt, what's going on, man?
Hey, Matt, welcome. The Super Comics
What's
out
up?
of South Africa's intense too.
What's up, guys?
So, Martin, you will have yourself a journey on that one. I thought about it. I asked Matt about it, and he detoured me away. Hey, Matt, welcome.
I'm not gonna detour anyone away from doing whatever they want. Just know that certain countries are fucking bitches.
You informed me that the Superman 233 was going to be pretty intense as far as a choice. So
it would be intense. Yeah, I think I don't, honestly, I think with the essay, I'm not even sure if I've seen 3 of those, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry I'm late, guys. Let me just say I'm sorry I'm late.
I would not try. Go
ahead, Scott. Sorry.
No, I was going to say I would not discourage someone from trying the set just because something's hard. I mean, that's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
And if you focus on a book, you'll be surprised sometimes at what you come across. Now, the lucky bastard is kind of there for everybody sometimes.
Yep, exactly. Everyone deserves some luck, and like John likes to say, comic karma. It happens. Trust me, it does happen.
But Robert found the 300.
Yeah, probably random networking.
Yeah, they just kind of they just come out of nowhere sometimes. You get lucky.
So Martin had a follow-up question that I think we've kind of tapped on though, and this one I think Matt's kind of went into, but never maybe fully, is how do you figure out how many are in the set you're going to build?
Well, that is a toughie because at one point in time, we actually had a private database that was set up where we could go and be able to tell what was what and where was where. We ended up losing that database when a payment wasn't made to a host server. But that was, so we were trying at one point to create a kind of online catalog of what all the known books were for all the popular sets. We have since fucked that up. So now, you know, like John said, you can Grand Comics database GCD has gotten way better at not only having the foreign books there, but cross-referencing them, even though they do it wrong by calling them reprints, but cross-referencing them, that's your first place you go. Always go to GCD first. Then after that, like was already said, now, since there's no real database to find that information out, you're just going to have to ask all the old timers. You know, that's what the FCC group is for. Use the FCC group. Go in there and say, I'm trying to build the such and such set. Will you guys help me figure out what is all there? And then people will chime on and figure it out.
And I think the other thing, Matt, is what do we always say makes foreign collecting so great? It's the community and it's the journey. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
it's the fun of the hunt. Like if all it takes is money to go buy it, well, then you might as well go collect American books and just go on eBay and buy whatever. But if you like research and all that, that's what makes this a fun niche. Or as JF likes to say, niche.
Oh, he hates that. You're hitting his hot button issues.
I had to do that.
Don't do that.
I'm just doing a quick look. I looked at the Grand Comic database. It's got a German. It's got the it's only got 6 in there, so I'm going to go. It's not complete. I know Tony has at least a couple more than that, right, Matt? Do you know how big that set is?
Hold on.
I was trying to find the picture, and I'm not having as much.
For
Ricardo
which set? Sorry.
The 233 Superman.
Oh, the Superman 233.
Neil Adams breaking the chain.
You know who would know? Tony Pomila's got them all. Okay, so whatever you see in there, know that there is a Filipino. I think you guys discussed that already. There are only 2 of the Filipinos that I've ever seen in America. There's only 2 that I know of. I know there's a really nice copy with someone that Tim Bildhauser knows.
What year did that one come out? I'm not a Superman guy, really, so I...
Mid-70s? I forget, John.
71.
71? There could be a Cinco on that.
Yeah, that's true. There could be.
I mean, I haven't seen one, but the timing.
Yeah, Tony's got a nice post of the Filipino. I'm trying to find a set picture if I can.
I don't know if he's ever shot a set pic of that. There's a lot of them, though. And particularly the Scandinavian countries, they did a redraw of that issue where Superman's busting the chains, but he's like buffer, like they made the muscles buffer. There's also a French one, I think, that came in a newspaper. That's like it's like folded in 4. It's like folded in fourths, and so to get to the cover, you got to unfold it. That's a funky ass set, man. Tony Pomila is the only one that I know that's ever successfully really spread that set out and has, if not all, most.
Yeah,
but it's more a fun one because there's all kinds.
Database, so let's go with that for sure.
Yeah. There's definitely more than what's in the database because there's like 4 or 5 or at least 3 Scandinavians. You have there was one where the image was reversed. I forget. Do you remember what that one was, Scott? What country that one was from?
I just saw it on the picture. It was the Nembo, the kid Nembo.
Oh, yeah. Italian.
Italy.
Yep. Yeah. So the Italy one, the Nembo kid, I think it's reversed. That's a fun set. I mean, if you're a Superman fan and you like classic covers, that's a really, really fun one.
Matt, Paulo busted on you. It's pronounced niche.
Oh, I'm sure. See, you caught me weird when I was trying to go to the chats. I can't see. Remember, I'm on a phone, guys, so I'm not on a computer.
I can't see the chat.
I can't see.
You only see what I'm posting. I got one for you. The question that I don't know if you guys know or not. This feels like maybe. He's Paulo again. I'm interested in collecting the Dave Cockrum's Futurians French reprints. They're the only three book. There are only 3 books, and it's the only time Futurians was reprinted this century. Anybody know anything about that?
I'm not familiar with that one.
Okay, we'll go back to the group. Anybody want to chime in if anybody knows anything about it? Please do. Oh,
I'm looking at it right now. 1983. It looks like New Mutants, but it's some way different. A graphic novel, 1984.
Are they the French ones?
No, I just typed it in and it came up as the U.S. version. Graphic novel in 1984.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. That might be one to post to the group, Paulo, because obviously we are.
Was it only printed in a graphic novel?
Oh, he's saying it was 3 books
right
printed in French.
Oh, that's that same font.
Futurians.
Yeah, that's like when New Mutants came out. Those graphic novels got real popular, and that stuff wasn't put in a comic format. It was just kept in a graphic novel. There was an X-Men. I remember a whole bunch of them when they came out.
I don't know what Ricardo was saying. He said 2 Japanese. So maybe he's saying there's 2 Japanese in that 233 set.
Oh, yeah. I think there is some Japanese. Yeah. That's a crazy set, man. It falls all over the place. Also, let me answer. Someone said that I look tired. Yes, I'm really freaking tired. An amazing thing happened, though, today. My wife and I agreed on something.
No. She agreed to let you stay in the house?
It blew my mind. We actually agreed on something because I swear to God, you guys, not only am I tired, my wife is like, she's blaming me for everything right now.
You just have
even stuff that's not my fault. I don't know if that's happening to any of you guys, but I'm just being attacked. I feel like a beaten dog, man.
It's your fault.
It's been rough. Everything is my fault.
You have to say I'm sorry
I
even
know.
when it's not your fault.
When nothing happens, you're exactly right, Robert.
Just revert to training.
I'm dealing with that.
Revert to your basis.
Yeah, to my baseline is just yes, honey. I'm wrong, honey. You're right, honey. I mean, but anyway, yeah, we agreed on something. I don't even remember what it was. It was some stupid little thing.
You write it down.
But it stuck out in my mind because I went, oh shit, it's been days since we've agreed on something.
My garage said you agreed that you can live in the garden.
I know. I better go to my place, right? Oh God, yeah.
Oh, okay. Here's a good question. Closet Geek here. I have some Lebanese books that I'm trying to discern what prints they are. Oh,
that one is tricky.
We talked a little bit on that.
Tricky.
On the
if they look too good to be true.
If the conditions are too
If
nice,
they look too good to be true,
they're reprints.
It's a clear. Yeah, you're right, Scott. If
you're gonna have
too good to be true, it's a reprint.
Well, we looked at that 227
later printing
logo with it having like being oval instead of round, and some other weird little things pop up. Again, you know, if you ask in the group, if you get more specifics, I'm sure somebody has some more info. But yeah, a general rule is that if it looks too new, it probably is.
Well, there's a couple.
Yeah, if it looks too new,
there's a couple things that can happen. You can have the original that's not been trimmed or pulled out of a mulhod. Then you can have the mulhod, which technically is not the reprint, but it's been bound. So when they're bound, you're going to see the spine.
The spines are going to be trashed.
Well, this spine's not trashed because I think the hardbound ones, for some reason, the glue dries out. And
So
I think it's easier to get them out. If it's in the magazine, which they call it's called a folder. They use the term folder, or I think that's the term it translates. And here's one where the spine was pulled. You can see, Robert's got an original. It's just an original. You can also tell, because if you have an original and you put it up to a pulled, the pulled ones are trimmed.
Yeah.
Usually at the bottom and on the outside edge. That's what I've noticed.
They're a little smaller.
Yeah, and the conditions on these things, like I said, they're going to look like Golden Age books. They tend to have rusty staples. So it's kind of like when you're buying Brazil books. If you find a Lebanese published, or it's usually the ones from the 60s and 70s are Lebanese. If you find one that looks too nice, it's probably a print on demand. And it's probably worth $15. The other thing is that there's a theory out there that you can have a lizard skin type of texture on the originals, but some of them, sometimes I see exceptions to that rule. So I just don't have enough material to actually be real emphatic. I
think if you showed some pictures is probably the best place to start. People can kind of look at them, give you some gut feels.
Yeah, and the paper, if the paper's slick, if it looks too clean, that's a bad indication. It should be newsprint. And what I found, what I see with all my Arabic books is that they'll have spot coloring, and then in the center they'll have an inserted story, and that's usually full color. And the paper tends to be a little slicker and different than the regular newsprint.
That's some randomness there.
Since I'm here, I'll just go ahead and open it up.
No, why not? Hold on, I'm
gonna
put you.
I think I was talking to Scott Robinson, and I think the printer of the Lebanese editions went out of business in around 82 or 83.
Yep,
and they had super low print runs. Hey, Matt, you remember we talked about you did the show too. They talked about the super low print runs, like 500 each. I suspect that one reason why the collectors in the 80s all agreed to do those reprints is because they knew the print runs were low, so it would be impossible pre-internet to try to track these down.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, it all makes a lot of sense.
That would have been their only hope to ever read the whole run, because no one, I'm sure, because they were so rare. That's why they reprinted them in that pre 2000, which we think, right, Scott, is probably the first print, or the first bootleg printing that happened was in the 80s or
90s.
Or 90s, and then usually the third printings, or what would be the second bootleg printings, usually can tell on those because they just look way too nice, and you'll notice that on a lot of them the print is a little darker or much darker than it would be on either the original or the first bootlegging. So
and you lose details.
Yeah, you'll be able to see. I mean, so on that, I would just suggest pick out a few of the books from the Lebanese books that you have that you want to tell. Shoot some pictures of them or some scans and put them really, really nice scans, and then just throw them on FCC on the group, and we'll look at them and see. People will be able to call it out either way.
Yeah, and
that's
if this is able to help
official group.
If this is the person that had a friend just bring a bunch of these back into the country, I looked at that post, and when I was browsing through it, my opinion was that it was a mixture of originals with pulled editions, because I could clearly see the pulled spines. So like you can spot it right away.
A good sign. But yeah, those are tough and fairly highly coveted for the right books. So depending on what you got.
Oh there. Yeah, any of the Adams bats of those books, If they're originals, you've won the lottery, as far as I'm concerned.
And some of the other stuff too. I mean, it depends. People collect lots of different things. So if it's the Lebanese writing just adds some pop, everybody wants it. It just makes things interesting.
Yeah,
they're cool.
Are you guys hearing my audio? Am I
Nope.
clear?
You're fine.
I'm hearing you guys really chopped.
No, that's probably just you're getting it chopped, but it's not fine here. Solo Wookie had one more, Matt, that you
I'm sorry,
agreed on.
Guys.
That maybe they agreed that you are blinking too loudly. Your wife and you.
And just to kind of add to the conversation, like to your point, John, you get the fonts on these.
Oh yeah, hold on, I'm gonna pull you up. Oh yeah, I mean they're just nuts.
And then here's what you talk about the condition of the books. Actually, here, I don't know if you can.
A little difficult.
It's kind of hard to do.
Yeah, tough angle.
God.
Whatever.
Anyway, like the corner down here, this corner, look at that.
Yeah, I mean you got to think there were not.
It's like it sat, so typical of foreign books. They don't have bag and board culture. And so the edge, like the interiors are nice, but the cover around the edges, like right here, it's just like moisture got to it, or maybe an insect just nibbled a little bit. Like, I don't know. It's just beat to heck around some of the edges. Pretty typical of the foreign books.
Okay. All right. I don't know what else you guys want to talk about. Closet Geek. I'm gonna shoot you a link to the Facebook group. Feel free to follow any of us on IG. I'm Comics Are the Norm. Matt's Define 999, so Define 999. Robert just left. He's Rob's Comics 81, I believe. So,
hey John, I know something we could probably mention here. So, like talking about pickups of the week, I got this guy right here.
Oh wow, Navarro,
Mexican Bat 227.
Did Matt leave? We must have just lost him.
I think we lost Matt.
Oh yeah, that's a beauty.
This is a pretty nice copy. We get tons of questions and debate about value of books. So maybe just a comment on that is a book like this, for all you guys that have been collecting since the 80s and 90s, back in the day, you could go to garage sales and you might luck out and find, a Fantastic Four #1 for like $20. I mean, that kind of stuff could happen. I found a Showcase #4 for like $400 at a it wasn't $400. It was even less than that, I think. I bought it at an antique store. They didn't even know they had called the comic shop and asked if they knew anything about old Flash books, and they just had general prices. But that was a $2,000 book when I found it in the 90s. So I guess there's fair market value. There's the value that you might pay if you're the person that finds it in the wild. You always hear people talking about going Golden Age hunting and finding stuff in the wild.
They exist. They're just hard. It's not common.
The foreign books are the same way. Like, could you find a Navarro Bat 227 on, I don't know, Mercado for $25 because somebody doesn't know what they have? It's possible still. But you're probably going to pay anywhere from $200 to $500 for that book now. That one cost me two bills, and I know Triggs just sold his slabbed 6.0 for at least $500. It's in the $500 to $600 range. I'd have to go
once you get into that kind of grade,
reverse engineer it. But yeah, to get a slabbed book from the States, you don't have the risk of not, is it going to have a coupon clip and all that stuff? I mean, that kind of stuff, those risks are real with any comic book, whether you're Golden Age, Silver Age, American, foreign, those are real risks. So getting a slabbed book, I think that was a very reasonable price for that. But some of these books, even if you can still find them occasionally in the wild, they're definitely have a solid value, like that Bat 227 for a few hundred minimum.
If anybody's looking, I just saw a Navarro pop up in Spain for about 100. It's pretty.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Hey, Robert.
What did you find, John?
Navarro in Spain that popped up. It's about $100.
But hear you guys.
Oh, is it a 227?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I was gonna buy it, but I'm just shipping from Spain and all that right now. Just kind of.
Do you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're getting a lot of feedback, Robert. I'm gonna mute you just a second. I think you maybe switched headphones and it caused something weird. Ricardo says there's nothing on Mercado anymore. I would agree. There's a lot less than there used to be.
That's actually it's a good observation, and I think part of it is that a lot of these people that I used to buy from on Mercado are now on Facebook. So like I'd go back and I'd look at emails, I'd see somebody's name and I'd be like, wait a minute, that name looks familiar. And then I'd go back to my email from like 2014 and it's the same person. So instead of having to, get someone to help me on Mercado Libre, like that's actually the person I used to buy from. So I'd say it's partly anecdotal that I say, I think a lot of these people migrate from one platform to another. I think the social networking has really changed the environment, especially for foreign collectors.
Yeah, I would agree. It's all just kind of moving around, and you've got groups like this where people went, oh, I can sell them here to a focus group versus just listing them God knows where. So,
right, and plus, I'd say some of the collectors in the U.S. like me are guilty of paying a premium for stuff, and so obviously people want to get the most for their money. I think that makes a difference. But then there's forums that are exclusive to the countries of origin, and I think they're selling on there as well.
Well, I'm betting comic collecting has grown in other countries as much as it's grown here. I mean, even 5 years ago, more like 7 to 10 years ago, it's like, oh, there's books for days. There's no way this book's going to be worth X. And then we all underestimated how many people were going to jump into this market and want to collect something.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a question. And maybe Ricardo can chime in on the chat. I know he's been there. Martin asks, how hard is it for someone outside of the country to buy off somewhere like Mercado or Todo Colección?
Oh, why? Todo Colección, you can buy off of that if the seller will ship. So you have to look to see what the shipping options are. And sometimes if it says no shipping outside the US, you can still send them a text and maybe they'll change their mind. And as far as some of the Mercado Libres, here's the problem with Mercado Libres, each country is sort of individual. Like my wife's Colombian, I have access to the Colombian Mercado, but I can't log into Brazil, I can't log into Chile. I can only get into Colombia. So you got to have somebody, like I found a guy on eBay that I bought from like 5 years ago who's in Chile, and I kept his email. So whenever I need something, I just ping him and he gets it for me. Now I have to pay him a nice premium, but
welcome back, Robert.
Hey, Comic Spot.
So
thanks for watching. So I hopefully that answers the question. You can do it.
And you have to be careful. You got to read the listings very carefully because sometimes they'll show a lot of books and that means each one's this, or they'll be selling things that say they're not exactly what you think.
Or they leave listings up. So that's a big problem in Mercado Libre in Mexico.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, you're still getting some weird feedback. Not as bad, but it's still something. Ricardo says you need someone in the country for Mercado because now they send a code to your cell phone. It has to be a cell phone from that country. So, yeah.
Oh, I'll have to test that out. Yeah.
Todo Collection. I know somebody was just buying from there out of country the other day. It really is. You got to message that seller and just see. They may list that they're not going to ship, but if you ask them nicely and it's the right person, they will.
And some of the people that sell on Todo Collection also list on Mercado Libre, so you can reverse engineer. You can actually sell. Trying to think of the guy's name, Leprino. Find him on Todo Collection. Send him an email. Hey, can I buy this book that you have listed on Mercado Libre Argentina, but you don't have it listed over here? And he'll be like, "Oh yeah, let me go see."
Yeah,
you can do that kind of stuff.
Ricardo,
you just got to be really curious and clever.
Matt said one thing is it Mercado, you can be like a kid in a candy store. You can see stuff, but you can't get it.
Yeah.
But, hold on, I just lost the comment. Ricardo said a clear example we were all kind of watching if you're in the group is there was a non-canon 128 that the infamous wedding cover was in some Mexican collecting Facebook group that a couple guys were in and were watching in it. And I believe it sold for, was it a little over 700 US? Maybe a tad more than that, maybe 750.
Yeah, and I think Mahale said it had a lot of writing and stuff in it. It was a low grade copy.
Yeah, it was a lower grade copy. I don't know who won it. I didn't track that, but somebody was kind of keeping us up to date. But that's a perfect example of how the local collectors are already paying a premium for it, whether they're going to keep it in country or they're going to sell it. These things are not floating around for the low prices that they were. The local indigenous countries, wherever you are, becoming aware. I've bought Italian 300s off the same seller, about every month and a half. He keeps putting them up, and each time the price goes up a little more because there's always a buyer. So
yeah, the cat's out of the bag on the non-canons.
So
yeah, like it's a bunch of the La Prensa's on eBay right now, like the Big Booty Win, the Satanica. The Satanica's up for 1,000 starting bid.
Yeah, that's
those are Rouleau's books.
Are they Rouleau's?
Yeah,
they're all Rouleau's.
Are they nice?
Oh yeah, he's got decent books.
Yeah,
I don't know if those are his personal collection books.
I thought you bought the Big Booty from Rouleau, or did he have another one?
Yeah, I bought that one from him, but that one has a little bit of water staining at the bottom on the back cover from the pictures I've seen.
So those are books that man, I don't think it was the same eBay, but maybe it is, and I just forgot.
He just bought a huge collection of books.
So maybe he found
boxes and boxes.
So he may have found some new ones.
Those could very well be new books, yeah.
Comic book G-Spot said, one of my German brothers sends me stuff. The big problem are taxes at customs, and also if you send a letter, you can sometimes get through if you find gems, but it has a lot to do with whom you know. Yeah, true. I mean, this hobby, you better be friendly. Robert does an exceptional job. I'm a little bit more of a I'll wait and somebody will want to sell something thing. Robert actually gets out there and he has met probably, if not 100 people, I feel like close, man. You talk to everybody out there. You hustle to find what you're looking for.
You got to be proactive.
It's the touch and feel. Like you could put the word out there or post a picture, but if you post a question and ask, somebody will point you in the right direction. Like, Scott point me in the direction of Jim Wassey, or Ken Worthing will point me in the direction of a couple of guys in the Nordic countries, or however that goes down. It's definitely a network. You can't get any of these books just by stumbling across them. Like, you can do it for a little bit. Just,
I won't. If within the group you can, you just have to be willing to not be set on this is what I'm going to buy today. I tend to see something and I go, I'm like a fish and I see something shiny and I go, oh, I need that. There's stuff getting listed randomly. Just a matter of if you're looking like you're a very specific hunter, you hunted down sets pretty quickly. You know what you want. I'm more of I haven't seen that before.
I like your analogy, John. Oh, something shiny. I want to put that in my mouth.
Ricardo, one more follow up on that 128. He said a Mexican won it, and people in the group were happy that it stayed in Mexico. Hey, I'm okay with that, man. Glad for him, but then that does mean that a book is done. I mean, it was done before. It was expensive for a long time, but it's now really, if you find one down there, you're lucky. It's like finding an ASM $300 bin here. It's possible, but unlikely.
It's probably a reprint. But no, the one thing I want to touch on that I wanted to share with everybody, that if you like how I finished the She-Hulk set so fast, is that if you see a seller that has multiple covers that you're looking for, you can always ask, like, hey, I can't buy them all at once, but if I could do a payment plan or pay on it gradually and then get them all, you can save on shipping, which is the one biggie in this hobby. And you can pretty much get a deal if you like, talk the person up or anything like that, because the one thing you want to do is move books at the same time. You want to complete the set. There's no race to finish the set, none. So don't ever feel pressure to finish or anything like that. But I was happy to somewhat finish the She-Hulk run, but it's gratifying knowing that I have most of the covers versus still trying to look for one. So it's a fun game to play, and that's how you kind of stay pretty much on top of whatever it is. But the hunt is always what keeps you going in this side of the hobby.
Welcome to the chat, Mike. And Corey Susan has joined us. Sosner. And it's all who you know and the research. And as Robert was kind of saying, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Those asking are going to find that book if somebody's got it in a collection. And you were saying just leaving stuff hanging. Especially now because shipping's so dicey. I've got, I think, at least 4 guys that I have books that I'm like, yeah, I'll pay for you for that. Just keep holding. And they go, hey, I found this. Do you want this too? And sometimes it's yes, sometimes it's a no. But by the time I buy it, I'll probably have 5 or 6 things sitting there that I'll be happy to ship all at once.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like to kind of put them out there. The guy that we're getting the Dutch books from, I'm trying to remember his name at the time. He's doing a shipping where it all goes to one person, and then we distribute it that way. So
it's Klaus.
Yeah, Klaus.
Klaus.
Yeah, Klaus.
Klaus.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a smart idea when he brought that up, saying, hey, I'll ship everybody's books in one box. And then we just distribute it to each other throughout the country. So it kind of definitely, shipping is the nemesis of our trade, but we're not worried about it because we really want the book. So
I mean, I've been trying to put together that Spectacular Spider-Man 101 set. And I mean, there's copies on eBay and it's a $3 or $4 book in like Italy, but it's $25 ship. And I'm like, okay, I just keep it on my hunt, and if I see that maybe that seller adds 2 or 3 other books I want, then I want it. But it's nuts.
And sometimes, and one thing I can say is that one seller, I got a book from Argentina, but to kind of not have to pay the total in shipping, I sent a message asking a question about some other books that he had. But a lot of times the eBay sellers don't post all the books they have at the same time. They just kind of wait, and as soon as they come off, they relist another one. Sometimes it never hurts to ask a question like, if you have this book in this series and this printer or this publisher, do you have this one? And I've had one guy that had another book in the run, and he gave me that one too. And I just paid like an extra $1 in shipping. So it never hurts to ask a question too. So it always helps.
Yeah, I mean, there's some guys on eBay that if I find they're good people to deal with, they ship well. It's kind of like, hey, do you got anything else? What else you got? Or can you keep an eye out? Because a lot of these guys are looking. They're out there looking for these books because they're looking to sell them again. Martin, yeah, that's the one with the yellow background. There's a couple of them with the yellow background now, but yeah, that's the one in Italy, the black with the yellow windows and Spider-Man in front.
What book is that?
The Spectacular Spider-Man 101, the one where in America it's just black and white, John Bryan.
Oh, he's upside down. Yeah. So, it's a gorgeous cover.
Yeah, so I didn't know how many there were, but I'm quickly learning there's quite a few.
Yeah,
So,
the Icelandic one is a gorgeous book.
yeah, I maybe have 2 of those somewhere in transit.
somewhere in the cloud.
I don't know if they made it out of Iceland and are heading to New York, or if they're in New York and just hanging out. I don't know. It could be anywhere now. We've lost track.
I've already had a couple books. I got the delayed shipping notification on USPS.
Yeah, that's an interesting topic. What are you guys seeing? What are guys in the chat seeing? Anybody? Because I saw somebody on the Facebook group asking and saying, "Hey, I might try sending some stuff because I see that the shipping's let up." Anybody actually have any firsthand knowledge what they're seeing out there? I don't know. I think I had a Mexican book that shipped probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I haven't seen it do anything. So that's kind of about the place I'm drawing the line, I think, is about a month ago is where it's really just kind of slowed.
Even before the whole COVID-19, Mexico was just really slow the last 2 years because of the their customs. It takes a long time to let it release from the country.
Oh yeah, I'm aware it usually takes a month anyways, but once I hit a month, it usually means we've hit a bigger slowdown.
Yeah.
If you buy a big book from Mexico, pay for like DHL.
Splurge and get DHL.
Yeah, DHL.
Don't even. For those that's watching, don't ever be afraid to pay the extra for shipping. If you do that for U.S. books just to make sure it's protected, you always want a tracking number to make sure that you know where it is, or the peace of mind to know that it's somewhere on its way. Because, Australia, I'm talking to Spiros. I literally was like, the first time I did it, the She-Hulk came to me with no tracking, which I'm waiting for it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just pay the extra $15 just to see where it is. Because there's been times I missed it, or I had to run to the post office because they couldn't figure out, like, is there a signature for it or not, or the paper went into the wind, like it doesn't stick to the door. So it's like,
if you have a ghost book, then price is no object for shipping.
Oh, hell no.
You pay $70 for DHL. That's probably a little more than you'd have to pay, but it's usually anywhere from 40 to 70. If it's coming from South America, I don't even think twice about it.
Sky sent the book to me. It's $50 from DHL. 50.
Brazil. Wow, I don't know how. Rico's saying 5 to 9 days for Brazil.
I got some books from Brazil pretty fast recently, so that wasn't slowed down. Canada, Ricardo's right. Canada's fast. I mean, I've got some books a couple times from Canada this month, and they were like less than 5 days. Yeah, so some of the countries are going. I don't know now. Martin says Spain, France, and Italy are locked up tight at the moment. Not sure about Germany. So I mean, I think if you're in Europe,
would you have your own oven back there?
Not going.
I had Mario send me a Conan. I got a Conan Newton from Mario, and that was like 7 days from Germany.
Yeah, so the UK seems to be okay. Spain, Ricardo says Spain use FedEx. So yeah, I didn't even thought about it. Sometimes different countries, different ways to get your books fast.
I had a Star Wars Bulgaria I got from Spain, and the guy sent it FedEx, and it was only $20.
Oh, really? How fast did they get there?
Like 4 days.
Okay, so that's not bad.
I was like, I thought it. I couldn't believe it was so cheap.
Say hi to all of your fans.
Don't piss off your wife.
Trouble.
You remember?
You just got out of the doghouse, Matt. You don't put him back in.
Matt, we talked about.
She's mad at me now.
Matt, you're living on the edge.
You look beautiful. You don't need makeup.
No wonder you're always fighting.
Oh, you're gonna get in trouble, man. You deserve it now.
Yeah.
You're. It's like
She's
teasing.
Beautiful.
Okay, so one more update. The comic book G Spot.
I
have
a question here.
The German version, Amazing Spider-Man 101 through 110, only 2 weeks wait. Right now, it's a lot longer. That's right. All the time tracking and 4-pound cost, 65 to Germany 2 weeks. So it seems to be hit and miss. I think Europe is the most hit. I think Mexico's just Mexico as always, man. They're just always slow.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if I'm buying a big book, I'm usually buying from a reputable seller, and I'm like, I'm going to pay for the prime shipping. If I'm paying $10 or $20 for something, then I'll let it go through the month-and-a-half process, but just expect it's not getting here fast. It'll be a nice surprise one day, and I go, "What did I order again?" Something from Mexico.
Yeah, I got stuff sitting out there too that I'm waiting on.
Here's a mail call. I don't think I've shown anyone yet.
That one.
Nice.
This is the Little Greek.
Oh.
Yeah, the second Greek Star Wars.
I love this little thing, man. These little formats are so cool. It's got the little picture of the Princess Leia right here. So this is an example. This is a recycled book, by the way. I got this one from Triggs. I know a lot of people are having issues with him, but I actually was one of the first to hit him up, and I got that book.
We're talking about format sizes. I showed off that Turkish book we got from Parallel Universe, and it was just a little shorter than the American. And Matt and I were just talking, why is that? No idea. He hit me back up the other day and told me it's just that's the country's. Well, for that particular book is the metric system, and that's the system they use for paper, and to print that size was like drastically more efficient than to print in the U.S. standard. So that's why some of these books with different formats. We're just.
I just had a mail call. Someone ring my door. It's the post office guy.
Oh, I better go get it. Don't lose it.
Oh, now the wife.
Yeah, what do you got?
Let the wife see what it is.
Oh, okay.
Go get it.
Here, close the door.
Get it later. Hold on, I'll put it in the bedroom.
Are you gonna go get it?
I can't.
You'll get my mail call?
Don't let the wife see what it is.
You should spray with Lysol.
No, my daughter's like, it's Daddy's comic book. I'm busted.
You have more patience than I do, because some days, like especially now, because not much coming in, I'm like, oh, there's mail. Oh, what is it?
Now, what I was going to say is me and Matt were talking about the little Greek Star Wars.
Live unboxing here.
That's a good example of a book where we used to see them, and then they just the supply dried up.
Yeah, it dried up big time on that one.
You don't ever see it anymore. And see, I can't really count this one because I got it from another U.S. collector. I consider that recycled. It's already in the population.
Yeah, it's not a wild find.
It's not. Yeah, it's not caught from the wild.
It's not. It's not a wild find.
Not wild caught. We sound like freaking Aquarius or something.
Listen,
We're crazy. We're all crazy. You gotta be.
Yeah, we're crazy.
I will buy it.
You gotta be crazy to do what we do, guys.
Oh yeah.
Say that again, John. I missed it.
I'll buy it from whether it's a fresh find and not fresh find. I'll buy it wherever I can find it. I don't care.
I was just saying,
starving.
For the benefit of our audience and a lot of newer guys that maybe haven't been hunting for a long time, and you're like, okay, do you buy it when you see it? Is that a rare or common, or it used to be common? Some of this stuff, it comes in waves. Like, I hadn't seen a 300 Filipino in like, I don't know how long. And then Robert found one, someone else found one, which is why I encouraged the person that was thinking of the 233 set for Superman. Just because we say some of the books are hard, I would try to go after it, because we may not be finding them, because if Tony's the only one tearing it up to look for them,
yeah, that's true.
That may be the reason why they're not showing up. There could be one or two out there that need to be found.
Yeah, they'll pop up. You got to be looking.
No. Tony wants us to stick to Marvel. He doesn't want us looking at DC. Remember that. He said, no, DC is horrible. Don't start.
DC sucks.
Listen, I bought a lot more DC in my American days than I did Marvel, especially Silver Age, just because it was a little better price. I gotta imagine that potentially.
Oh, Comic Garage wants me to do an unboxing.
That's what
I don't think it's foreign though.
Oh, is it something else?
Oh, you mean like a Marvel comic #1 or something?
Good April Fool's joke, by the way. Had us all thinking like, what? 2.5? Rich.
I wish, man.
Oh, yeah, lots of, I don't know.
I have a mail call that I want to talk about. I have a
let's see it, man.
Shout out to Mike Zurcher. He gave this to me a while ago. He gave me the Dutch Dirty Pair. Adam Hughes.
Yeah, he found that randomly somewhere crazy. I don't like just in the dot. So awesome.
And another one from the CBSI group, from Topher. He went on Tradera and he found the Adam Hughes.
Nice.
The Dolomon.
Has stickers on there, but don't care. We found these for pretty cheap. Shout out to Topher. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Topher's cool, dude.
Ricardo.
Yeah, he was in the forums a little bit before we were. I found out he has his little collection too. So
yeah, he's research is everything, man.
Yeah, no limits to Topher.
So
he's my idol.
He was in foreign more just because he wanted to know what the hell it was, I think, than a fascination with different stuff. He's just like, well, there's some Harley Quinns over there, I think. Let me figure that out. He's a nut, man.
Topher's known about it for a while. A big reason why is because of David Stuckey. Remember, David Stuckey's article hit CBSI a long time ago.
Yeah, he was doing some foreign stuff probably 4 or 5 years ago.
he was. Yeah, he was. I think he was instrumental. Topher was in getting David Stuckey's article on CBSI. So he's known about it for a while.
I'm gonna go ahead.
Let's see what that is, Scott.
Let's see what he got. What'd you buy? That's not foreign, Scott. I don't know. I don't know if we approve.
Hold on,
his mic is muted.
That's okay.
You got a pirate behind you. Watch out! They're going to take your booty.
Yeah, she's gonna rob you blind, Scott.
Yeah, she knows what this stuff is. She listens. This is ridiculous.
Well, at least it didn't get damaged.
Yeah,
good packing job.
Comic Garage says that looks like a GA timely gem.
We can only hope.
I'm waiting for Scott to pull out some random modern.
No, that'll never happen.
That's just this week's ASM. Don't worry, guys. He's left. He's running away. Oh, I spy that Batman picture in the background.
Oh, yeah, awesome. The Van Gogh Batman.
You should show that off while we're here with nothing else.
We should.
Everybody's excited because they know I have this.
That's not what that was.
That's not what it is, though. No.
You're not ready yet.
When I got the Mystic, I was going back to my old Marvel Masterworks, and I was like, oh, crap, I don't have the first cap. So I had to find one of these guys.
Okay.
I bought a whole bunch of these like 20 years ago, and there were only a couple that I could never find. So, it's not a foreign, sorry.
That's all right. We'll let you go. We'll let that happen.
Yeah, it's still
Jack
cool,
Kirby, man. And like, where am I going to get the funds for one of these anyway?
You get the German reprint.
Hey Scott, can you show off your Batman Van Gogh painting, please?
We saw it in the background there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
Look
amazing.
at that. That's amazing.
Trying to get it.
That's awesome.
Everything's backwards. Can you see it?
Yeah, we can see it.
It looks
Kind of hard
great.
to do this.
You can see the texture of the oil.
I love it.
The bat signal coming from the church.
Hey, church sometimes needs Batman too.
Yeah.
No, I don't even know. I'm trying to remember. I was talking to Matt Professional, and I don't know if he suggested I do that. I can't remember. I'll probably have to credit him for the inspiration to start doing it. And then I just started painting it, and then when you're on a roll, then you keep going. And then I did this one.
Yeah, I like that one as well.
I like that one too.
Get your little bat 227. And for all you young guys, so the last one was the Van Gogh mashup with Starry Night. This is Van Gogh Wheatfield with Crows mashed up with the Adams 227.
And I think your Batman is much better than the French version.
Yeah, I think my Batman looks better than the French 227.
You may not have caught the original, but you definitely beat the French.
It doesn't look like an 11-year-old drew it.
No.
That was awesome. I love those. I'm telling you, Scott, if you get those properly reproduced, you could sell prints of those things, dude.
I need some motivation.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Hey, but I think I'm
finding
gonna-
a printer.
You can't do much right now, so
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think I'm gonna have to go, guys, because sorry the mess up with everything where I didn't have a computer. I'm gonna have to jet.
Well, that's all right. I think we can wrap it up now. We've been on an hour and 15. I think it was a good.
I'm gonna go get caned.
A good.
My wife's gonna cane me. I think.
Heather Joe, don't beat him too hard. Just enough.
Heather, John said,
Are we
don't
seeing
beat
any
me
other
too hard. They're
questions?
concerned.
I think it's slowed down, but I'm gonna check one more time.
What did you say?
It's slowed down. We've got a couple people asking. So,
Hey, does anybody know? Is there going to be a Submariner Marvel movie?
it's in the talk, but I've never heard it confirmed. So, which one is that one?
Oh, this is the La Prensa one.
No, it's a La Prensa.
Man, the glare is so bad. Hey, thanks, CK Comic. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks, Comic Week, for joining us, and welcome to the community, man. I heard you joined the Facebook, so we'll see you there soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, this book right here, I hunted high and low for this. I threw out stupid offers, nothing. And then this one just came up for sale on eBay. Well, I should say it just came up for sale. I knew the seller was going to bring it to market, and I'll tell you, I worked that really hard, and I bought it before it hit the eBay. But I knew it was there. So I'll let some of my secrets out. Knowing is half the battle. You got to know where stuff is, even if it's not for sale. It's just good to know it's there.
Yeah.
And that was an example of a book where I knew that it was there, and I just waited. And then when it came to market, boom.
Oh. StreamYard's not happy with us. I don't know what happened there. You guys there?
Yep, I can hear you.
All right. We should do it again. I agree. When's the next FCC podcast? I believe they do it weekly on Sunday, so hopefully they're doing it this Sunday. So I think we should cut it off just because the world is against us now, because StreamYard is starting to act up. So thank you all for coming. We'll try and schedule another one real soon. And save up some questions for us. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Matt. And
Hey, thanks for having me on again.
thank you guys all. And anybody catch
For all the viewers.
we look forward to it. Matt and I should be recording the Punisher limited series this weekend. This week, we'll hopefully get that out to you. All right. See y'all.
Stay safe.
Later.